birds. They're the furthest things from dolly birds you've ever seen, but they're dolly birds all the same, because they're that's the name of the show, Dolly and Dolly Birds. So then Anne comes out and does her wee bit, and Anne's very great. She's great with the crowd. She gets the crowd going, and she talks to them as if they're in her front living room, and they love that. I've had many people come up to me afterwards saying they just loved Anne. They just thought she was amazing. So I bring her in. So basically, the first bit of the show, maybe half an hour or so of the show, isn't me. It's just that's somebody just starting off for me. Then the next bit comes in. I come in and I would be doing all of the Dolly stuff with Anne and Laura, the two backing singers, doing their bit behind me. Then after that, I go get changed. That's the second act, and the girls come in. Laura will come in and do her wee bit, and then I will come in and finish off the show. So it's basically very Dolly-esque still, but because of due to illness, I have to take breaks, and also because I need to sit and stand. I play guitar, play 4 or 5 different songs on the guitars and banjo, and I also have the girls coming in and out to give me a rest. So, but if you look, people like you would notice that I will be standing for one song, sitting for another, standing for. So it's basically to give me a break, and to make sure that although the show is given as much quality as it can be, it also, and a lot of Dolly, obviously, because that's what people are paying for. Also getting to be able to sit for me and rest, but still getting plenty of Dolly.
And of course, that's something that I suppose, well, that was the reason for your break. So you took about a year or so's break from Dolly. Yeah. And I mean, you had already been battling with ME before you took your break, and you'd find ways and coping strategies and stuff like that to get up on stage. But tell me a little bit about what happened over the last couple of years that forced you to take a break, and I suppose has now brought you back onto the stage.
Well, when I was doing the shows towards the end, I shall say, before the break, I was struggling. Now, because I'm a show must go on type of a person, no matter, nothing will make me not do a show. For instance, my mum died on the day that I was performing I performed in her nursing home, because they asked me to do, they knew who I was, and they asked me to do it, and my mum was dying upstairs while I was performing downstairs, because I'd promised them and I wasn't going to let anybody down. And that's the sort of thing, the way I think, and I know my mum would have wanted me to do that too. So again, I performed shortly after, again in a different venue, shortly after she died too, and all of those things are very, very difficult. But with pain, it's just debilitating in every way, because mentally and physically you're just gone. I was on stage in the Europa, and I had done everything I could to be well. I had heat on my back, I had a back support. My back was the problem, so I did everything, and I had taken painkillers as well. I'd taken every painkiller that the doctor prescribed for me that I was allowed to take. Still on the stage, singing away Jolene, and I was thinking to myself, my mind wasn't there. I was lucky that I do have a lot of experience, because part of my autopilot just kicked in, and I did Dolly, but not to the standard that I'd want to do it. So the next thing is I can recall thinking, I don't know the words. And this is Jolene, a song that at that point I'd been singing for God knows how many years. So I knew, but between the pain, I just thought, I'm in excruciating pain here. I need to stop doing this, because the doctor had already told me to not do it. The doctor told me not to even hoover the house, to do no more. And you don't normally get that type of advice from a doctor. You normally get, do gentle exercises, do this, do that. But her words were, not even gentle housework. And of course, I totally ignored her, because I thought, no, I'm not going to do nothing with my time. So then I stopped, and it was unfortunate because I had so many gigs. I had to let some people down. I had a panto on the go at the time, and I had a whole lot of different things happening. And I just I couldn't do anymore. So that was that. And then the next thing was I was just doing my ordinary shopping as you do in Sainsbury's, and my leg stopped working. My right leg just completely stopped working, and I was holding on to a trolley. And a lady said to me, are you okay? And I said, no, could you go and find my partner? He's just a couple of rows away there. I think something's happened, my leg won't work. And so anyway, he got me into a wheelchair, and we went to the hospital, and they did an MRI scan, and the MRI scan came back that I have a brain aneurysm. So that was that, and I found out that the brain aneurysm is going to be watched every year, and will continue to be watched until, if it moves or if it grows, they will then do a thing called coiling it. But they're not going to do anything to it now, because the operation itself is as dangerous as not having the operation. Because if you don't have an operation and you have a brain aneurysm, it can burst anytime at all. While you're asleep, while you're running, while you're doing whatever you're doing, it can burst just all of a sudden. It's meant to be the worst headache of your life, and then it bursts. So that was that, I know, and that was that. So the next thing was we went to the doctor, and I was talking about the pains in my joints and stuff like that, and the doctor noticed how hypermobile I was. Very hypermobile. There's a score called the Britain score test, and I score 9 out of 9. And she said that because of all the symptoms I've had over the years, like for instance, I've got cysts on my breast, I've cysts on my ovary, I've cysts on my back, my spine, under my neck, and the list goes on of cysts. I've got I had my period very early when I was 9 years old, and I have menopause is over me. I'm 47 years old. Things like that, and there's a whole load of other wee things like my brain aneurysm, and I've also got a leak in my heart valve. Basically, as my sister said, if I was one of her horses, she would put me down. And that's the loving family I come from. So basically, I found all that out, and I said, well, what could all that be? And she says it's a thing called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It took me a wee while to even be able to say that I couldn't pronounce it. He just kept saying Endler for some reason. But anyway, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and there's 13 different types of it. I've got the hypermobility type of it. I have more symptoms than anybody else. You could even, the list goes on and on. But I didn't know that being hypermobile or any of those symptoms. I just thought I was just, unlucky. A few different wee minor things, over the years, but no, all of these things ended up with the Ehlers-Danlos. So I'm not even sure if I ever had ME, but at the same time, I understand people who do, because it's debilitating ME, and I've even now at the moment, I will still. I have to still say, for instance, if I'm doing a gig, I'll have to have nothing to do the next day, because I couldn't do 2 gigs in a row.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it. It would be impossible. And I don't go out anywhere or anything, maybe that's longer for more than 1 or 2 hours, because I can't cope with it. But at the same time, I want to have a really active, full life. So I find ways, which is another thing that I suppose Dolly Parton would encourage, because she does exactly the same.
So you've got a ticking time bomb in your brain. You've got all of these chronic pain issues. You have back issues, etc., etc., etc. How on earth have you not just gone, screw it, I'm over this, I'm not doing Dolly, I'm not doing all of that there? What is it that drives you to keep going?
I stopped. I put on 5 stone, and I'm literally had no clothes of my own that fitted me. I didn't go out anywhere. I took people off Facebook that I was friends with, that I would have spoke to regularly. I withdrew from everything because I thought, what's the point in me? What is the actual point in me? I can't do anything that I've done all my life long anymore. So there's no bloody point. And so I just said, I'll sit here and watch TV for the rest of my days. I'm 47 now, so I mean, maybe I'm getting old after all. And then I thought to myself, it was actually Dolly Parton has a song. I know that I'm not obsessed. She has a song, Better Get to Living, Be Willing and Forgiven, because all healing has to start with you. And I was listening to her, and I thought, hold on a minute. There's people out there who are they do Paralympics with no legs. There's people out there that have achieved so much over their lives with so many disabilities. It's unbelievable. I can do this. I can find a way, and there will be a way. You just have to, as you shine, design, refine until your dreams come true, as I said earlier. And so I did. So instead of treating the Dolly show like a set list, which is what I would have done with any show like Dolly's, I treated it like a script. And instead of putting it out like a one song after the other, I treated it like sections. So I had the section for Neil Diamond, the section for the backing singers, the section for me, stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down. So I knew when I was basically stage directions, and then I did it like that. So I knew exactly how long I'd be on stage, how long I'd be standing for, and I have it set out like that so I can do it. Because I think if you are capable of doing something, you just need to try. Because if you don't try, you're going to lose all of your confidence. You're going to lose all of your self-worth and self-respect as well. And you won't believe in yourself anymore. And why would you do that to yourself? So if you can achieve a wee tiny bit just by taking the first step and by doing the first thing, then that's how you do it. And I've proved that I'm right, because I've been back on the stage, I've done the show, and I know that it works. But at the same time, with the new Neil Diamond coming in, and we're losing one of our backing singers, Dale, he is unwell, so we're losing him. So it's a new show, but these next 3 shows are the very newest show. But I have proved that that there is a way. If there's a will, there is a way in everything in life, I think.
And I suppose you're taking all of that experience that you have in musical theatre as a director and a producer, and also obviously as a performer, to kind of create a unique show that maybe no one else is doing in the UK, especially, because when it comes to Dolly, one of the things that she's best known for is mixing it up, shaping it up and changing things around. And so for me, maybe that's what makes you a bit truer to who Dolly is, on the scene.
Yes, Dolly, if I didn't know better, I'd say we were related, because really, the same size feet, same size other things, and same height, but also same lookout. I don't give up. I maybe have a rest for a bit, and I'll look after myself, but I will not give up, and I don't see why I should. And so I do the things that she does in that way, because she will find a way. And doing the producing over the years, and the writing especially over the years, is the only reason why I've been able to come back and do a version of the show that I know will please the public and give them the highest quality of show that I can possibly give them. But at the same time, it's catering for everybody's needs who is within the show itself as well. So if it wasn't for that, there's no way I would have thought, well, I just can't do it. but I just thought, hold on, no, we'll find a way, and we did find a way.
Well, listen, Donna, thank you so much. Those dates again are Friday, November 30th at Stables in Grimsport, Thursday, January 10th at Cabaret Supper Club in Belfast, and Saturday, January 19th at Crumlin Road Jail in Belfast. And if you want links for those,